Welcome to Zura Empowered, where MEPS meets the modern woman. I'm your host, Kay, and today we're unlearning, redefining, and reclaiming what it truly means to be both soft and strong. Because your softness is not your weakness, it's your superpower. And your strength doesn't mean you have to harden your heart to survive. Hey ladies, and welcome. Welcome to Zura Empowered, a space for women who are ready to fully rise and not just survive in this hectic world. Here, we center minority women like you and me, bold, healing, legacy-driven, who are reclaiming our balance and building a life aligned with our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual wellness. Here, we call that MEPS wellness. It's not just self-care. It's a full body, whole soul commitment to being real with yourself, rooted in your power, and open to community. Whether you're rebuilding, reclaiming, or just remembering who you are, this space is for truth, vulnerability, and radical self-respect. So breathe deep, drop those shoulders. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to show up, soft and strong, exactly as you are. Welcome to Zura Empowered. Let's grow. Part 1 of our podcast today is why softness feels risky. We live in a world that rewards hustle, dominance, and attachment. Women, especially women of color, are often told to be independent to the point of isolation. We armor up to be taken seriously, to be protected, and to avoid being taken advantage of. But here's the truth. Softness is not the absence of power. It is the power in the most intuitive, graceful, and soulful form. To that first question, where in your life have you equated softness with weakness? I feel like a majority of the time when we're confronted with what seems to be challenge, obstacle, is someone that is offering a challenge to how we think and where we're headed and in what direction we're traveling. We often harden up. We're like, okay, you don't know what's best for me. I'm the only one that's had my back. Or, we have this response we have to protect ourselves from other people's thoughts, other people's criticism, other people's opinions, especially when we're in a relationship and we feel like we don't have control because our softness, as we have thought, is a weakness. It makes us weak to our partner. It makes us weak to being able to uphold strength within ourselves. But let's break that down for a moment. Let's dissect that. My own insecurity in a relationship is not my partner's responsibility. In a relationship, it is my responsibility to bring to the table my strengths, my love, my care and compassion, and my time and my energy. When I'm not being open to my partner because I'm afraid of showing vulnerability and being soft and compassionate, because let's talk about what softness is. Softness is being compassionate and loving. It doesn't mean I can't have my own opinions. It doesn't mean that I can't listen to opinions. What it means is that I can listen, take in, and take the energy and time that my partner is giving me, respect it, appreciate it, be open to it, and reciprocate. That is what being soft is. That is not a weakness. That is strength. That is a strength from within us of feeling as though we have our own backs, but guess what? The person in front of me also has my back. And whatever they're saying, whatever they're communicating, in whatever way they may be communicating it, they're saying it from a place of love, care, and compassion. I think we often take criticism to what we're doing and who we are as someone trying to negatively change the direction and the trajectory of our lives. We fear being swayed and moved by external influences. But when we have a partner when we're in a relationship, where is the love, care, and compassion? There shouldn't be a boundary in the love that is expressed. There needs to be boundaries in how we conduct ourselves to make sure we are conducting ourselves with integrity and respect. That's what the boundaries are for. The boundaries are not to harden ourselves so that our partners cannot experience our grace and our love. The boundaries are our guidelines and our conduct to make sure we are respecting ourselves and respecting our partner. It is not to be a block that prevents us from connecting to our partner. And that's why softness is important. It is our innate ability to be intuitive, graceful, and express our soul to our partner. It is not weakness. It is not in the form of me giving and lending everything to my partner. It is me being open to following my partner's lead when necessary. It is me being open to my partner's thoughts, ideas, and feelings. It is me responding, reciprocating to those things. Let's talk about what hardness is. What is the opposite of that? The opposite of that is being argumentative. The opposite of that is being combative. The opposite of softness is not allowing my partner to have any type of influence on me. What is the point of a connection? What is the point of having a partner if everything is about what I think, what I want, and where I'm going? There is no us in that. There is no vulnerability in that. At that point, that's just me hooking up with somebody and wanting them to be around because, yeah, they're kind of cool. That's not me having an engaging relationship where my soul is fed, my mind is fed, my heart is full. That's me being closed and empty, devoid of love and compassion and care for my partner. At that point, they're just an acquaintance. We don't need to harden ourselves to our partners. We need to nurture the connection and grow it. To maintain that over time, we need to be able to express wholeheartedly the love and care we have for them without boundaries in that respect. And I want to reiterate, the boundary is not hardness when we do set boundaries. We set boundaries to ensure that we are responding to each other under a common ground of respect, under a pretense of wanting to grow and evolve and change and become better people. Not in spite of each other, but with each other. Because of each other, we became better. Because we positively influenced each other. The boundaries are there as a form of self-responsibility, as a form of integrity, not as a disconnection from our partner. Hardness is choosing to say, I have a shell around my heart that you can never penetrate, but I'll sleep with you and I'll spend time with you and we can go out to eat. Well, hey, we can even live together. But I'm not going to let you pass a boundary that I put around my heart. I'm not going to let you enter into my mind space and have any influence over me. That is being hard. That doesn't mean that you're the type of person that argues and yells and screams. Maybe that's not you. This can look like many different things in different forms depending on your personality. But it always comes down to one thing. Did you open your heart to your partner? Did you speak from a place of compassion and strength within yourself, belief within yourself? You being vulnerable with your partner does not mean that you are weak. It does not mean that you cannot be an independent, strong person on your own. What it means is you say, together we are creating. Together, we are growing as individuals on our own paths that have chosen to intertwine ourselves with each other. And I am open to you. I'm open to sharing my soul with you. There is strength there because you believe in yourself that no matter what happens, you will have your back. You will take responsibility for yourself. That's how you can be soft. You're soft when you have belief in yourself that you will always have your back, even if things don't work out, and that you wholeheartedly were able to put forth an effort to connect with somebody. Our partner is not the problem. The problem always stems with us. And here's a good thing about that. When it's us, we can actually do something about it. If we are the ones that are hardened, we can soften our hearts, be open and compassionate, and speak from a place of strength. So we talked about the contrast between being hardened and soft. And so let's ask the next question. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be nurtured? What does it even mean to be nurtured? I mean, we know spa days and mimosas, wine, nice bubble bath, foot rubs, massages, a nice dinner. Is that what we think nurtured is these days? Those are nice, right? We love to be treated. We love to experience that princess treatment, feel like a queen. But that's not truly nurturing your heart and your soul and your mind. Allowing yourself to be nurtured is allowing yourself to fully drop all of your boundaries and fully embrace your partner and yourself. You can let go of your woes of the day and say, I entrust myself and to my partner to let these things go, to let myself feel connected. It's a moment of feeling warmth and empowerment. That's what feeling nurtured feels like. It's sometimes in the form of a hug, holding your hands, having a conversation about what was bothering you and being able to feel heard and appreciated and respected. When's the last time you allowed yourself to be nurtured? When you allowed your mind and your heart to be nourished without putting some type of boundary, having some type of expectation of performance, having some type of expectation of what the response should be from the other person. You allow yourself to be nurtured when you let go of expectations and you just allow the person to be there for you. You allow yourself to be nurtured when you let go of all of those boundaries that you've been holding around your heart and say, I want to feel your energy and I'm open to it. Being nurtured means you are open to an exchange of soul energy with your partner. You're open to both giving and taking without worrying about their intention, what they did last week, how they made you mad a couple of hours ago. It's saying, we're not enemies. We are one. And let us share and partake in a moment where our energy aligns. That is what nurtured is. It's feeling comfort, safe, and knowing that you are a part of creating that environment of comfort and safety. And that you have chosen to do that with your partner. Nothing feels better than a warm embrace when you are feeling drained. And not only can we be open to taking that, but we should also be open to giving that. Because just as we want to be nurtured from our partners, we should nurture our partner in times that they might be feeling low. Nurturing is being supportive. Nurturing is being present in the moment. How often do you feel that you are present in the moment with yourself? Knowing exactly how you feel, why you feel it, allowing yourself to feel it, and giving yourself comfort and saying, we got this. This is a moment right now, and I still got my back, and we'll find some way through it. I got my back. Give that to yourself, and you can give that to another person because you'll know what to give. The reason why people talk about loving yourself first is because if you don't know how to give it to yourself, there's no way you're going to know how to give it to another person. So nurture yourself first. And in that right, you will be able to nurture your partner. And you'll know how it feels to be nurtured. So when they're nurturing you, you can be open to it, receptive to it, and engage properly. Be open to actually feeling that moment. If you can't remember the last time you were nurtured, look forward to it in your coming future. Be open to it with the right person. And that person is you. Because it's going to start with you. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with part 2. All right, you know that we are a MEPS focused podcast. And so part 2 of today's podcast is the mindset of soft, strong, and what it means to be sacred. Now, the empowered feminine mindset is rooted in our MEPS pillars: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. We start with mental clarity. A feminine mindset of an empowered woman starts with mental clarity. The softness starts in your thoughts. You don't speak to yourself harshly. You affirm the good in you. I am safe to soften. I am safe to receive. You affirm, my softness is sacred. My mind is my sanctuary. This is the key to establishing the proper mindset to being a soft, strong, sacred woman, empowered in your femininity. Your softness is sacred and your mind is your sanctuary. Emotional ownership. Being soft means feeling deeply without being ruled by those feelings. You express what you feel without guilt or suppression. Your emotional ownership is going to start by acknowledgement on a regular basis. What emotion am I resisting that I need to allow today? You'll find progress if you just track this on a daily basis. Write it down in a journal. Write it down on the notes on your phone. You can even write it on a whiteboard. You wipe it off later. Whatever way you need to get to this on a daily basis until you've really established this for yourself, until you have internalized it, you need to be checking yourself and say, well, what am I resisting right now? What are you resisting with yourself? What are you resisting with your partner or your kids or a loved one, right? It doesn't matter who it is. Always start with yourself, I say. But that can stem out to family. That can stem out to your loved ones. Ask yourself, what are you resisting that you need to allow? Is someone coming at you sideways about something and they're trying to tell you something about what you're doing and you're not good with it? Well, why are you resisting? What are they trying to tell you and where are they coming from? Are they coming from a place of love and care for you? Are they coming from a place of trying to empower you? You might not like the way they deliver the message, and that's okay. But are you resisting their good intentions towards you? Are you resisting their attempt to connect with you? Your honor comes in the form of intuition. Part 3 of today's segment is acting with integrity and respect. When you know who you are, you move with quiet confidence. To respect yourself, you need to keep promises to yourself. You don't shrink to make others feel comfortable, and you rest when your body asks for it because you honor your vessel. You need to understand is you are the most important person in your life. And in order for you to teach this to others, to share this with others, you need to honor that through your actions, which means keeping your promises to yourself. Respect for others. What does that look like when we're speaking with integrity and respecting ourselves? Respecting others means you speak truth with love and not ego. You don't let your ego get in the way of the true message that's coming from within you. It will blindside you and confuse you because your ego is anger. It is societal constructs. It is a plethora of other things that is actually not you at all. You are not your ego. Your ego is a compilation of negative constructs that you've built over time that you've used to protect yourself. That's what the ego is. The ego is actually a form of protection. It's a form of protection to protect our internal selves, of which we subconsciously view as weakened, which is why we harden ourselves. Ego is like the part that we refer to as hard. That shell, the outer shell that prevents people from getting in. We don't need that there. It's actually what is preventing us from speaking from a place of strength, which is our love and our compassion, our soul. So let the ego go. Let the anger, the fear, let it all go and speak truth. Speak love, speak compassion. It doesn't mean that it has to be pretty. It doesn't mean that your truth is pretty, and that's okay. We didn't say truth was always beautiful, but it can be spoken with love and care and compassion for yourself and for the other person. Hold space without judgment. We can have a space for somebody in our minds and our hearts without judging who they are, what they do, why they do it. We can listen and not judge. We can hear and not make assumptions on what they mean. Ask in-depth questions. Figure out what their true meaning is and what they're saying. Figure out what their intention is, who the message is even to. Maybe they're speaking to you, but the message is not even for you. Maybe it's a message to themselves. Sometimes people's subconscious will actually speak to us because they can't hear it. We don't need to judge them for that. And that's why it's not actually a good thing to judge somebody based on what they say and what they do. We can hold a space for them and listen to them and understand that everyone's at a different place in their own journey, their own personal growth and development. And we do not need to compare them to us or to other people. We don't need to judge them based on our own preconceived notions of how a person should think, do, and act. That's not our place. Our place is to do our best to be the best person we can be. And by doing so, we will actually encourage other people in our own environments to be better, to do things based on who they are, what's important to them. We shouldn't judge people because they may not share our morals and values. We can respect each person's individuality by holding a space for them without judging them. That is respect. I want somebody to respect me for how I think, who I am, and the unique things I bring to the table because I am my own person. We should offer that to other people by holding a space for them without judging them. appreciate who they are without criticizing it, without letting our egos get in the way, without that space of difference being held in a negative light. That indifference should be appreciated. I can appreciate who you are and recognize that I'm different because I'm confident in myself. I can hold myself accountable for what I do, and I do not have to cast judgment on you based on your own personal choices because I'm solid within myself. This is the reason why self-respect is the foundation, not respecting other people. We won't know how to respect another person if we don't have that foundation of self-respect. You can set boundaries and still bless people when they leave your life. It doesn't mean we have to judge them for that. It doesn't mean that we have to compromise our boundaries because we want to keep them in our lives. No, we set our boundaries. We understand what's important to us. We understand our needs, what we want, and bless the people who are on a different path. Just because they're on a different path does not make them a bad person. Just because they're on a different path, it doesn't mean that I will never see them again. What that means is that I will appreciate the time that I did have with them, and I will bless them as they leave my life because our paths no longer align. That is living with intention and grace. That is having respect for other people. Respecting their own journey. Recognizing that it is in our place to decide what that journey will look like, how they will act and interact with other people during that journey. And staying true to ourselves. Because staying true to ourselves is not only respect for ourselves, it's actually respecting the other person. It's respecting their differences. It's respecting their individuality, just as respect our own. Ladies, we are on part 4 of today's podcast, the reclamation of soft power. Being soft and strong is revolutionary. It's a refusal to be hardened by trauma, by capitalism, by patriarchy. Let's remind ourselves, okay, you can cry and still command a room. You can nurture others and still be a CEO. You can heal and hold your standards. Repeat after me. I am soft. I am sacred. I am not to be played with. In another podcast, we'll talk about how we've been hardened by trauma. We'll talk about capitalism and the patriarchy and how it's affected the way we think and what we do. But for today, let's focus on that self-empowerment. Let's focus on that soft power. I want you to know it's okay for you to have days where you're not operating your best. Those are the moments where we can take a minute, reflect, see how we can do better and improve ourselves. You should appreciate those moments. Don't use those moments to harden yourself against everyone and everything in your life. Use those moments to say, my softness, my love, compassion, and intelligence is being challenged right now. How can I overcome this by still being true to myself? Softness is speaking from truth. It's being honest with yourself and then being able to relate that to others. When we are hard, we hold the truth within us. We hide it deep down inside. That hardness, that ego, it prevents us from connecting to other people. It prevents us from truly being able to have loving, engaging relationships that we grow from, that we add to. When we are hardened, it prevents us from truly, deeply adding to others. Words of affirmation only work when we soften ourselves and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with truth. Honor yourself, have integrity, respect and love yourself first. That is where your soft power comes from. And it is powerful. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're having a heart to heart with somebody and everything that they say just kind of bounces off of you? You're just like, that didn't hit home. That ain't reaching me. I'm sorry. You might be saying all these nice words and all, and I want to be able to believe in you, but I don't. Because what you say and what you do does not make sense. Every time you tell me that you love me, you go and you lie to me. Every time I try to believe in you, you're holding out. You're holding information back from me, and you're not telling me the full truth, the full picture. I'm sure we've all experienced something like that. Moments where we were challenged to overcome a situation and we decided to harden ourselves. I ain't trusting nobody. I don't believe you anymore. I don't know who you are. You ain't showing me the real you. Women, ladies, that's where we come in. This is where our power lies. Our power lies in our ability to soften ourselves, to soften the other person, to help teach them how to break down these barriers. But when we are not doing our part, we cannot expect that of the other person. When we are not doing our part to show and to teach in this way, we are failing to do our part to create a better environment for ourselves. We are failing to do our part to respect ourselves and who we truly are. Who you truly are those feelings that you're hiding deep down inside of you. And I'm not talking about you being mad at somebody. I'm not talking about you feeling sad about something. I'm talking about those feelings that say, I did not like this. I felt disrespected. Or in times where you felt loved and you didn't want to show it because you was mad about something. It goes on both sides, good and bad. Those feelings, those deep internal thoughts that you have to yourself, that you keep to yourself, share those. They're beautiful. The good moments and the bad ones, share them. Talk about it. In another segment, we will talk about how to have these conversations with your loved ones, how to have this conversation with your man or your woman. We'll talk about that. I'll give you examples of how to have these conversations, because I think we'd all use a little help sometimes in learning how to express these things. But for today's segment, I'm out, and we will continue this conversation on another day. Part 4, the reclamation of soft power. Being soft and strong is revolutionary. It's a refusal to be hardened by trauma, by capitalism, by patriarchy. There will always be something external that is going to challenge us, whether that is at work, at home, in our relationships, in our relationship with ourselves. And it starts from the moment that we are born. But we're grown now. We have obtained knowledge, which is power, and we need to use it wisely. And we need to use that to understand who we are, what we are, and how to use that power, the power of our softness. Let this be your reminder. You can cry and still command a room. You can nurture others and still be the CEO. You can heal and still hold your standards. Repeat after me, ladies. I am soft. I am sacred. I am not to be played with. If there is one thing that you take from today's podcast, let it be these 3 things. You are soft, you are sacred, and you are not to be toyed with, because you are an empowered woman. If today's podcast resonated with you, share this episode. You can follow us at Zora Empowered on Instagram for your weekly MEPS check-in, and download your free relationship MEPS journal to align your heart before you give it away. You don't have to choose between being soft and being strong. You are always meant to be both. Zora Empowered, where women come to rise, softly, boldly, completely.